Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Blog Star Challenge Day 3. How is everybody doing today? It's sunny but cold in Southern California today, but the sun is out. I'm grateful for that. I'm missing the 75, 80 degrees. We complain that we don't get any winter. There's no change of season here in Southern California, but when it drops below 70, we want the sun back. It's cold. Good morning. Hi, Michelle. How are you? Did it warm up at all by you? I know you were like, 6 degrees or something ridiculous. I was just saying the sun is out in Southern California and it's, I don't know, like it's supposed to be 54 today. Hey Jane, good morning, or evening. I suppose it's evening by you, right? Okay, let me see. What, 70 degrees, Michelle? That's crazy. That's awesome. You're gonna be warmer than me. That's crazy. I hope you're outside, or gonna get outside. Hi Ash, welcome. Welcome to day 3 of the Blog Star Challenge. Oh, Michelle, and it's supposed to snow tomorrow. That makes it really hard to get dressed, doesn't it? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. We had snow on, not here literally at my house, but like the next town over, which is a little higher elevation. So Monday, it was bitter cold here with the wind. The wind was so cold. And that evening they got snow, and so my daughter's like, everybody's getting snow but us. She was watching all the videos on Instagram and stuff. Hey Ash, so glad you're here. Where are you from, Ash? Tell us where you're from. Oh, it froze. Hi Jane. Yeah, I said hello, I said good morning, and then I said, good evening. It's like 6 o'clock your time, right? 6 p.m. Glad that you could make it. Did Miles have a good birthday? Are you guys like full of sugar? Recovering from that? Ash, you're from Atlanta. Okay, awesome. Well, welcome. Are you having mild temperatures today or are you cold in Atlanta? Hey, Natalie. Welcome. Natalie, where are you from? Give us a shout out from your city and let us know. 69 degrees, okay. So you and Michelle are about the same. Way too much sugar, good. I had a meeting. Oh, yay! I'm glad your meeting was canceled so you could join us live. That's exciting. And you're from Detroit, Michigan. Okay. I'm from Michigan. We're from the Holland area, and I lived there till I was like 9. And my entire extended family is still there. So I see all the updates from my cousins about all the snow that's there and the freezing cold mountain bike riding that he's doing in the snow that he loves. So I know it's cold there. Jane says, hi, Natalie. This is exciting. I'm glad you guys could make it. I don't remember who it was. I should have looked. I was gonna look and I forgot. One of the girls said, yeah, I can't make the lives because it's 3 a.m. my time. And that's totally understandable. I totally get that you can't be here at 3 a.m. So I'm glad that you're watching the replays, whatever time zone you're in, and just make the most of the video by asking questions, because I will follow up in the questions if you are not able to be here on the live. Yeah, it is so pretty there in Holland. Tulip time, right? May, it's coming up in May. Heat wave, okay. Snow's melting, now it's all slushy and gross, muddy. It's so crazy how, like, I don't know. It's just crazy to me how different weather is wherever you are. So I feel like I'm getting this a little bit of a cold or something coming on, and I don't know if it's because I've been staying up late and not getting enough sleep, because I've been working on this challenge and preparing, emails and all that type of stuff that goes along with it, or if it's just the changing in the weather. So I'm going to be sipping on a lot of water today. I feel a little catch in my throat there. So I hope that's not distracting. Hey, Jerry, welcome and good morning. Happy you're on. We'll get started here in just another 30 seconds or so. So has everybody been working on their homework? Oh, thanks, Jane. My dogs don't love my hair. You know why? Because I curled my hair instead of walking them before the video this morning. So they're not happy. But I'll walk them after I'm done. Okay, elderberry. What, as a tea, Jerry, or like a supplement? Or like a throat lozenge? Because I know they have those types of things too. I take like a ton of vitamin C and echinacea. I don't take zinc, but I know that that's really good for colds and immune system as well. So I should probably get some zinc. I've been stop thinking. Okay, yeah, Jane, you're overthinking, Jane. I think you know what you want. That's okay. That's okay, because those ideas are going to pop in your head and you're going to be, yes, that is it. That is the one. Okay, Jerry, they sell it as a syrup. I'll have to go to our local Sprouts and check it out if they have it there. If not, they'll have it at Clark's. Good. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started because we have so much to cover today. Girls, we are talking about tech today. And we're going to go through a ton of resources, so make sure you get those notebooks of yours out. And I'm also going to be posting a list of resources in the files within the group, so you can refer to those as well. So if we're going along and you're like, wait a minute, what did she say? What is that thing called? How do you spell it? Those will be in the notes. I think it's more important for you not to take specific notes on the names of the resources, but what each resource can do for you and how they're different, that type of thing. So that's going to really help you get your blog kicked off the right way. Yeah, you need help with all the tech things. So here's my deal with tech. I don't design websites and I don't set up, I don't work in the tech day to day. But I can do it for myself when I need to do it, every once in a while. So I have designed both of my websites from a template, and I've customized it, and that's the easiest thing to do. And you guys are totally going to be able to do that. If you can follow directions, step-by-step directions, you're going to be able to do the tech to either set up a blog from scratch, or if you are just wanting to update an existing blog that you already have. And we'll talk more about like the look and the feel of your blog tomorrow. That's actually a really fun lesson tomorrow regarding that. So today we're really going to get to the nitty-gritty of what you need to do to actually get your blog live on the internet. So if you already have your blog like live on the internet, stay listening, because there might be some things that you're like, oh, I didn't know that. I should get that, or I should do that, okay? All right, so let us get started. My name is Tammy Gibson. I am the host of the Blogstar 5-Day Challenge, and I love to help women get online to share their wisdom, to share their style, and to share their personality. So that's what we're doing here today. We're helping all of you women become blog stars so you can get on there and just be a part of the online world and change the world in your own individual way. So today, as I said, we're going to talk about the tech. And the first step that we're going to talk about, now that you've kind of decided the topic and the subtopic, right? You broke it down and you've decided who your ideal reader is, or at least you're working on it. The next step is going to be, what will you name your blog? So it's called Name It and Claim It. So we're going to get started with that. Are you ready? Give me some hearts if you're ready. Okay, so picking your blog name. So these are some general concepts that are going to help you with your blog name selection and the future use of your blog name. You want to keep it as short as possible. My fashion blog name is A Mom in Red High Heels, and it gets to be redundant typing it in. It's a little bit lengthy. I probably would have gone with it anyway because I love it. I think it's such a powerful name for what I am doing. But the shorter your name, the easier it's going to be for you when you have to type it out 100 times a day, and the easier it's going to be for your readers and new people to remember it and to find it. A lot of the domain names, which is just the name that you're going to put in the URL bar for your blog, a lot of the short ones are already taken, and they will broker them and sell them for obnoxious prices. So if you happen to find one that works for you and it's short, grab it because they're hard to come by. You want it to be easy to spell, okay? I was toying with the idea of On the Beauty Aisle as a name for a blog at one point, but I knew that aisle was going to be a sticking point for a lot of people. How do you spell that? It's a little bit of a, one of those tricky words that has those silent letters in it. So you want something that's easy to spell for your reader. They say the average person spells it about an 8th grade level, okay? So if you have like a higher, like an intellect as your ideal reader, then you could maybe go with something a little bit more complicated or a little bit more difficult to spell, and that should be okay for them. But you really want to keep it simple and easy to spell for the general public. You want to avoid those made-up spellings like shoes with a Z, like S-H-O-E-Z. It just confuses people, and every time you tell someone your blog name, you have to explain it, shoes with a Z. So that can be a little bit tricky. Also, using numbers, like using the number 4 instead of the word for. I know that keeps it shorter, but every time you're telling someone your URL, you have to say the number 4 instead of the word for. So just think about those things, and if you are not sure, is this too tricky to remember, ask people. Ask your friends, put it on your Facebook. Hey, what do you guys think about this name as far as ease of spelling and remembering? And then make sure you spell it right. Check dictionary.com and make sure you are actually spelling the word right before you start doing a search to make sure that domain name is available. I've actually seen the URL themselves, they probably caught the fact that it was misspelled, but now they're stuck with the URL, the domain name, and it's spelled incorrectly. So just double check yourself or have someone else double check you just to make sure. Those things you get excited, you're like, oh, this name is available, and you type it in and it's off by a letter or whatever. So just slow down, take a deep breath, double check it, okay? All right, now there are a lot of people out there who are using their personal name. So for example, for me, it would be Tammy Gibson, and then the I don't even know what that's called, the .com that comes after. So if you are going to establish yourself as an expert, say you want to be a coach, or mostly like some type of coach, and you're establishing yourself as the expert, and you're going to be offering services because you are an expert in that industry, your name is a really fantastic way to go. So first and last name would be ideal. If your first and last name are taken, my TammyGibson.com is actually taken by someone who does Pilates, and her website has been coming soon for literally years. I actually contacted her a couple of years ago, and I was like, hey, you're not using this, do you want to sell it? And she was like, oh, no, I'm going to start developing it here soon, and she still hasn't, and that was a couple of years ago. So here's a couple of tricks to get around that if your specific name.com is taken. You can use your middle name. So mine is Sue, so I could use Tammy Sue Gibson. You could use your middle initial, and I actually purchased that one for myself, and I started to use it, And my son was like, it's like Tammy's Gibson, Mom. It doesn't make sense. And the more I sat with it and the more I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't make sense. So I ended up changing it. And what I have now is Tammy Gibson Online. I just added that word on there, and it makes perfect sense because I'm doing online digital marketing and training and helping women establish themselves online. So that made perfect sense for my situation. You could do Tammy Gibson Coach, or you could do Tammy Gibson Fitness if I was in the fitness industry, or Tammy Gibson Foodie if I was in the food industry. So you can think of short words that go on the end of your name if your name's already taken. You also have the option of doing the .me's, the .tv, or the .co. There's all kinds of those other extensions. I'm sorry, I don't know what those are called. But here's a warning on that. If, for example, TammyGibson.com is taken and I go with TammyGibson.me, I need to check the .com and make sure it's not a direct competitor or within my industry. Because if we were both talking about sewing, for example, and fabrics, or something that's in a similar industry, it's going to make it really confusing for your readers, for her readers, for anyone who's doing like a search. They're going to get confused on who's .me, who's .com. So if the .com is already taken and it's really not being used and it's parked like mine was, then go ahead and use those other extensions. But if it's someone that's going to be kind of competitive with you and make it confusing, then I would avoid it and come up with a different solution for that. Okay, now for those of you that are doing a blog as an extension of your retail, your retail business that you already have set up. So say you have your Michelle's Cupcakes. That's the name of your website. That's the name of your business. You don't have to make your blog Michelle's Cupcakes blog, right? You can come up with something fun like Sugar and Spice or Daily Treats or something like that that relates to what your industry is and kind of plays on what your industry is, but it's a little bit more fun and cute, okay? Now, for those of you that are trying to come up with a name for your blog, whether you're going to actually buy the domain name itself, or if you're just going to create an extension on your own website, so it's going to kind of just be a new page on there, and you want to name your blog something separate, like we just talked about with the cupcakes, your blog name should be descriptive. So if you're not using your own personal name, you want your blog name to be a little bit descriptive of what you're doing. So you're not going to come up with something like Sunny California if you're going to be talking about recipes, right? That just doesn't make sense. But SoCal Sunnies is a great name if you're selling sunglasses. Okay, so here are a few blog names, and these are real blog names, so you can't use these, that tell you about the industry that they're talking about. Hello Fashion, Girl with Curves, Serious Eats, Pinch of Yum, Scary Mommy, and Your Modern Family. You can tell from the names of those blogs what they're about, and I also want you to see that these are short. They're cute, they're short, there's something recognizable. Hello Fashion. Okay, yeah, she's definitely a fashion blog. Pinch of Yum. I think that's so cute. That's gotta be a food blog, right? So you want your blog name to be descriptive of the industry that you're in and what you're gonna be talking about. So racking your brain and brainstorming is time consuming. So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas to get you started that are going to allow you to do this more quickly and maybe come up with something even more creative than what you would have come up just sitting there with pen and paper trying to think of names. So here's a fun way to discover great names. Use two words that could be opposites, like urban, homestead. My girlfriend is starting a business in home staging, and she was trying to come up with names. She really loved the word homestead. But to me, my perception of homestead is it's very out on the prairie, very, very country. And she just moved to Tennessee, so maybe that's a word that in that culture of that city that they use and that they're familiar with. So it totally works for them. But in Southern California, it just makes me disconnect. I don't relate to that word at all. But if we add the word urban to the front of it, because Nashville is an urban city, right? It's not out in the country. It's not on the prairie. So urban homestead makes me feel more comfortable, and I'm more likely to look into that staging business because I think, oh, she's going to have some cool urban modern decor. Whereas homestead, I'm thinking, okay, I don't want antiques in my home. And that's just the feel that I get, and that's not going to be everybody. But that's just using those two words that kind of mean opposite, but they come together to describe what it is exactly that she's doing. So you want it to sound cool and keep it short. Here's a couple other ones that I found that are real examples. Fishnets and rainbows. Okay, I think that's so fun. Fishnets is an indication that she's talking about fashion. And rainbows, I'm not exactly sure, but she talks about Kosovo culture because that's where she's from. I don't know if maybe they get a lot of rain there and rainbows. I'm not exactly sure where the rainbows comes in. I didn't dig too deep on it, but I thought that was a cute name. You have two opposite things, but it encompasses the topics that she's talking about. Another one you may be familiar with, cashmere and cupcakes. Okay, she talks about life's little luxuries. Okay, cashmere is a luxurious fabric, and cupcakes are a yummy treat to have now and then. They're not a daily treat. So cashmere and cupcakes is the name of her blog, and it encompasses luxury lifestyle. Harper and Harley, isn't that cute? I love that. Harper and Harley would be perhaps your two kids' names you could put together. My kids, their names are Nicholas and Montana, but we call them Nick and Tana, and I love that for a website name. I always thought about using it for like a children's boutique or something. I got that in the back of my pocket as an idea down the road, but I love Nick and Tana. So you can use two names. It could be, last names, first names, your kids' names are totally made up names. It doesn't have to be any relation to you whatsoever. They're just cute names that you like. But be prepared because people will ask you, oh, who's Harper and Harley? So maybe have a story to go along with that, why you chose those specific names. Okay, so that's the two-word method, coming up with two words that kind of play off of each other, sound good together, and are descriptive of what you're talking about. Here's another one. This one's really fun. So Amazon, we know we can use Amazon like as a search engine, right? They have everything, which means they also have all kinds of resources and ideas for you to gain from just digging around on Amazon. So go to Amazon and look up your topic. So if you're talking about parenting, just put in Amazon search bar parenting books. If you're talking about fashion, do the same thing, fashion books. Self-care is one of the ones that I looked up as an example. So it brings up all of the books in self-care. Now what you're going to do, write down ones that kind of catch your attention. So I have written down the Self-Care Project, the Mindful Life, I really like that one. And then this one, Soulful Simplicity. Isn't that awesome? I love that name. These are names of books, not websites. So one might inspire you. So you might like Mindful Life. So you're like, hey, that's a really great blog name. I'm going to check that out and see if that's taken. Okay, so you can get it directly from the title of the book. Or you combine them. So of those three book names that I just said, I came up with Simplicity Project. And your blog might be about simplifying your life. How can you simplify your life? So Simplicity Project might be the name of my blog, and I got that idea from looking up on Amazon titles of books within my niche, okay? Here's another way to do it using Amazon. You can look at books and they'll have the main title, and then they have that little subtitle that's like longer, so like Project Blog is the title of my program, and then it's teaching women how to rock the online world with their wisdom, style, and personality. That would be like my tagline. So the tagline of the book is something that you could look at and possibly use. So while I was looking up business coaching as an example, there's this really cool looking book that I may just have to get called Gutsy Glorious Life Coach. And then the tagline is how to turn your life coaching practice into a soulful money-making business. So I'm like, ding, 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 ding. I like soulful money-making as a blog name, soulful money-making. So if you're a business coach and you want to coach women how to do business the female way, right? Soulful way, heart-centered way. That might be a really great name for a blog, Soulful Money Making. I got that idea from the tagline of a book on Amazon. Okay, so do your research. Check out Amazon. It's a great resource. Okay. All right, so now that you've found your name, or you have a few ideas of names that you like, what you're gonna do next is a Google search. Do not go to a domain purchasing place like GoDaddy or Bluehost or any of those, because I have this theory. It's unconfirmed, but I'm pretty certain that it's true because it's happened to me. I have gone to GoDaddy before and looked up a URL that I wanted, a domain name that I wanted, and it would be available. But I wasn't ready to purchase. I did not have my credit card in hand, and I wasn't 100% sure if that was the name that I wanted, so I didn't purchase at that time. I go back a day or two later, literally not that long. I think it was even hours. Seriously, hours later. And now all of a sudden it's not available. So here's my theory. I think they keep track of domain names that are being searched, and then they reserve them, and then they charge a higher price at a later date for them. So I bet you anything, if I went back like a week later and tried to find that domain name again, it would be available, but it would be at a higher price. It's so not fair. It's such a game with them. So anyway, my point in that, and again, it's unconfirmed, it's just my theory, but my point with that is just do a Google search for your idea. So say you wanted to go with soulful money making. So just go to the Google search bar and type in soulfulmoneymaking.com. and just see if something pops up. That way, at least you know that domain is available or isn't available. And you can also see what other people are talking about if they were to type that in. So maybe it is the name of a book, and you may have to do a little bit of tweaking so that it's not a copywriting issue. Or, just have any problems that way where people are looking for the book, but you're using that blog name and they're confused on what it's about. So do your Google search on the name that you think that you might want, okay? So that's the first step. The second step before you buy that domain name is to check social media and see if those usernames are available, because you want to be matchy-matchy with your blog URL and your social media handle names. Okay, so my blog name, A Mom in Red High Heels, is too long for Instagram or Twitter. So on those platforms, I have A Mom in Red. Those are my shorter handle names. On Facebook, I have A Mom in Red High Heels. So check that also for your personal name. Again, Tammy Gibson has been taken like 53 times. Tammy S. Gibson has been taken like 53 times, like a lot. But Tammy Gibson online, was available. So I went ahead and scooped up that domain name and those social media names at the same time. So you want to check those things out because you want consistency of your brand across the board. You don't want to have your Instagram be your personal name, your blog be a different name, your Facebook be a different name. It makes it really hard to find you when people are actually looking for you. And they won't dig for too long because people, honestly, are lazy. They want it easy. They want to know that they can find you quick and easy. Okay, so matchy, and do your Google search. Okay. Now, just like naming a child, when you name your blog, you're going to go through all of these things. Well, what if people think it's this, or what if people think it's that? Those types of things you want to process through your head. Is this a name I'm willing to live with for decades, right? So once you have set your mind on the specific name, now you're going to go to a domain registry. And like I mentioned earlier, GoDaddy or Bluehost, or just type in the Google bar domain registry and all kinds of them will pop up. And at that point, then you are going to go ahead and request that domain name and pay for it. Now here's a tip, and this will be on that form, the files that I upload for you. I recommend Bluehost, and here's why. You'll get your free domain name when you do hosting with them. And we're going to talk about that just a little bit. Okay, we're not quite ready to talk about hosting yet. So right now, I don't want you to go and scoop up a name. Okay, let's get through this challenge this week because there's a lot of things to consider and all these moving pieces before you go out and get that domain name, okay? Unless you're absolutely set. And if it's your personal name, then yeah, scoop it up. Okay, now here's a big caution. You could spend literally weeks trying to decide on a blog name and going back and forth. Is this right? Is this how I want to express myself? Do people understand it? You have all these questions. But here's the key. Your name is important, but it's not going to make your blog a success. Okay? It's important, yes, but it's not going to make your blog a success. You are, your content is, how you market it is. So your name doesn't have to be, you know, this is it forever and ever. You can change your name, and I've known lots of people that have done it. It's no big deal, especially when you have your ideal readers following you and you've already established yourself. You're just like, hey, this doesn't fit me anymore. I'm evolving. I'm changing the name. It's not that big of a deal. So give yourself 48 hours is what I'm going to say. Give yourself time to process it, research it, but don't sit on it forever, because here's what happens. If you keep thinking and thinking, nothing's ever going to happen. If you can't even come up with a blog name, you're not going to actually write your blog. So come up with something, be okay with it, stick with it, and buy it, okay? All right. Talked about that. Okay, okay, I think that's it then for the naming of it. Are there any specific questions about the naming? Let's just go over that before we get into the other tech stuff, because I feel like it's a totally different beast. Let me just see if there's any names. Oh, I was going to mention Coffee and Glow. That's Jane's blog. That's a great two-name piece, because she wants you to sit down with your cup of coffee, read her blog, and be enlightened and be encouraged so that you glow, right? So Coffee and Glow, that's a great two-name blog name. Brandy, I can't. Okay, Leah, that's okay. We'll see you soon. Okay, yeah, you know what, Jane, I have gotten my domain names through GoDaddy also. I'll tell you why in a little bit. But now I'm recommending Bluehost. Okay, what about the tagline? Yes. Okay, so Michelle, I think we're going to talk about the... Okay, I think we're going to talk about the tagline tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to be talking about branding, and we're really going to get into the feel of your blog. But let me just mention quickly that yes, you can use your tagline. So you're going to have your blog name. So, you know, A Mom in Red High Heels. That's the blog name. Then my tagline is Living Life with Soul and Style. That's my tagline. So it tells a little bit more about my blog. You can assume from my name that it's a blog for moms, and you can assume from my name that it's a fashion blog because I'm talking about high heels. You can assume that maybe it's about bold fashion and making a statement because they're red heels. But then the tagline gives you a little bit more information, living with soul and style. Yes, we're definitely talking about style. And oh, we're going to talk about soul. So what is that? That's like how you feel, right? Using your style to help you feel a certain way and encourage confidence and all that kind of stuff. So that ties it in. So good question. We will talk about the tagline tomorrow. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a really good question. So you do have a little tiny bit more information you can share with the reader before they start reading your content beyond your name. Okay, Jerry says you have yourname.com. The blog page is called blog. I would come up with something a little more sexy, something a little more fun. So if it's just the tab that you're talking about where you're clicking over to the blog, people are familiar with what a blog is, so keep that. But then, you know, have your blog have a title, okay? You know what you can do? What you can do is change the name of it, but keep the tab blog, okay? Does that make sense? There's, you know, those two separate areas, so you can have the tab blog, and then whatever the page name is, wherever the blog is hosted on your website, then that's where you could change it. And you're not going to have to buy a URL. You already have it all hosted there on your website. So for those of you who already have a website, you already have, if it's a retail website or a service website, that blog is just a piece of it, and you don't have to buy a new domain unless you are going to integrate it into it, and that's a little bit more techie than I can share because my blog is on a blogging platform. Okay, so it's all set up through there, and if I had a retail website with a shopping cart and all that, then I think you would have to buy the URL and integrate it into that, and it can totally be done, and I'm sure the blogging platform people can share with you how to do that. I just don't know how to do that, okay? Okay, good. Let's move on now. I'm calling this tech and tequila because tech makes me a little crazy, okay? So if you blended up a yummy margarita to be a part of our challenge today, good for you. Have one for me, or at least have a sip for me, because I know it's not 10 a.m. everywhere where you guys are watching. You know, you can have some calming tea, whatever it takes. When you're sitting down and you're actually getting to your tech, you're going to want to allow yourself, first of all, time. Everything with tech takes longer than you intend for it to. Okay, just know that it's going to happen. So do not sit down to do this stuff when you're feeling rushed, when you only have a half hour. Give yourself at least a couple of hours to get through all of the list of things that we're going to talk about today. And then give yourself a relaxing atmosphere. Put some aromatherapy on. Put some calming music on. I like to listen to my Canon in D Pandora channel. It's just nice and light, and it's just background music. And then pour yourself a glass of wine, make yourself a margarita, or have some calming tea, okay? So set the mood and get yourself as calm as possible. Maybe even take a walk before so you kind of get some of that energy out. And that's just me. Maybe some of you love tech, and if you do, good for you. Maybe you thrive on it. So let's get into tech and tequila. Get those notebooks out. And again, I'm going to have these resources in a file within the group, okay? So let's start with some of the words. The domain name we just talked about. The domain name is simply the name of your blog, and it's the URL that people are going to punch in when they're trying to find you. So TammyGibsonOnline.com, that's my URL. TammyGibsonOnline.com is my domain name, okay? They're the same things. Now, for having a blog, you have to have your blog on a platform, okay? The platform, you have a variety of options available to you for a blog. You could go free. There are WordPress.com is free, not to be confused with WordPress.org, which is not free, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. So WordPress.com is free. However, your URL is now going to be TammyGibsonOnline.wordpress.com. Okay, so you're going to have that extension of WordPress.com added to your URL, which is okay if you want to start totally cheap. If you're really not ready to jump into this as a business and you're doing it more as a hobby or just to kind of feel your way through this process, it's okay. But here is the same problem as with social media. You're not owning that content. It's not your own piece of real estate. Okay, so if the .com goes down, your website's down and you don't have control over it. Okay, and also it's just more professional not to have that WordPress.com extension on there. But again, if it's a hobby, it's okay. Blogger.com, you can also do a free blog on that, and you're going to have the extension of Blogspot.com. That's actually how I got my start on blogging. It wasn't with a mom in red high heels, but I had a blog to go with a retail site that I had, and it was separate. I didn't have it like integrated like I was just talking about, but it was on Blogspot.com, Blogspot. And it worked fine. It was fine. You're limited on the functionality of it, and you're a little bit limited on the look of it. And again, with that domain name. But those are options for you if you need to totally go cheap and you're not really starting as a business. Then you have your paid options, and they vary in price, and they vary in functionality, and they vary in hosting, which we'll get to next. So WordPress.org, okay, you guys got to remember this difference. Make a note of this. The WordPress.org is the one that you pay for, and then you get to host your website, and you have your own domain name, TammyGibson.com. I use WordPress. There are thousands of plugins to make your WordPress look pretty, to have great functionality. It's the most common blog platform being used today. So that's one option for you. So you would go to WordPress.org to kind of get a feel for what those are going to look like. Another one is Squarespace. Okay, Squarespace, it's hosted actually by them, so you're not having to bring in GoDaddy or Bluehost or any other hosting website, which again, we're going to get to. So they're a self-hosted platform, and I've heard great things about it. I haven't used it, so I can't tell you too much about it. So it's definitely something to check out. So that's called Squarespace. You can go check them out as an option. Again, they are paid. And then another one that I've heard good things about is Wix, W-I-X, and they also host their own blogs. It's free to start. When you go to their website, it's a little misleading. It's like, get free hosting, get a free domain, right? Everything's free. And then you have to like literally create an account and log in to find out the pricing or to find out more information about it. But if you just Google Wix pricing, then it takes you directly to a page and you don't have to do all that login. So I did that, and the free hosting that you get is like such a tiny amount of space. So you're gonna have to upgrade soon and start paying for it anyway. So just so you know that, don't get trapped by the free that they're offering, because it's not much. It would take you, 20 blog posts with good images, not high resolution, but good quality images, and then you would be out of space, and you don't want that. So just know that you're gonna have to pay. to host with Wix. Now here's a few differences between those three. And again, I don't use Squarespace and I don't use Wix, so I'm not that familiar. I've just heard good things and that they're easy to use. They kind of have that drag and drop functionality for designing your website. So that's pretty easy. That's a pretty easy way to do it. WordPress is super common. So like I said, there's a lot of plugins. One thing you do have to be careful about with WordPress is because it's so common, guess who wants to get a hold of it? Those hackers, those people, they're so annoying. They hack into your WordPress because they're so common. They get familiar with the coding and they can plant little pieces of coding on your website, and then it makes your blog function differently. And we're going to get to that, but just know that that is an issue with WordPress, okay? So if you're on WordPress, just know that sometime in your life online, you will probably get hacked. It's not fun, but we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. So with WordPress, you're going to have to purchase hosting. And hosting is just borrowing someone's space on a server so that your blog can magically appear online. I don't know how all that stuff works. It's just internet magic to me, okay? So with the Bluehost that I was talking to you about, with the link that I have, and it is an affiliate link, it's just a referral link, you can get the hosting for $3.95 a month instead of their normal $7.99 a month. So if you do choose to go with Bluehosting, you'll get that free domain name and you'll get the price of $3.95, I believe, per month is what you're gonna pay for hosting, for allowing them to make your blog be visible to the rest of the world, okay? Squarespace, again, they do their own self-hosting. The cost, it looked to me, was about $12 to $18 per month. So it's a little bit higher. And I'm not sure what comes with that, because I know with Bluehosting, there's all these little add-ons, and then it can add up pretty quickly to be $15, $18 a month if you do all those little add-ons. So I'm not exactly sure what comes with that. So you would have to research that. And then the cost of Wix, the different packages they have based on the space and the functionality, $7 to $25 per month, okay? So do your research on those and just see which one fits your needs, fits your budget, fits your tech ability, fits how, you know, the look of it, the functionality of it. Okay, so what I said, okay, we already talked about that. Anywhere offers domain hosting. Okay, so the hosting, again, is just renting that server space. Don't get sucked into having to pay for an expensive hosting server. I paid $100 a month for years, you guys. Years. I didn't know any better. The tech guy that was helping me at the time, because this was back before it was pretty easy to do on your own, that was what he recommended. Obviously it was an affiliate link, which is totally fine. I have no problem using affiliate links for people that refer things to me. But man, he was making buku bucks on me, $100 per month, and every month he was getting a cut of it. And you know, the big deal was it wasn't that great of service. My blog would freeze a lot. It would go down a lot because of the traffic amounts were pretty high, and they'd always try and upgrade me. And I did do a couple upgrades just to keep my website up, because it mattered to my people, right? It mattered to my readers that my website functioned. So I paid it, and finally I got to the point where I can't do this anymore. It's ridiculous. And that's when I found Bluehost. So I started hosting my blog with Bluehost, and now I have my second website on Bluehost. I haven't had any problems talking to the customer service. I always just do the email chat thing because it's just easier for me. I'm at my computer anyway. And I've always had good success with them as far as that goes. The pricing's lower, like I said. So, you know, just shop around is my advice to you regarding that. And don't get sucked into believing you have to have this expensive thing, the best of the best, okay? All right, now when you go in and you're looking at, I'm just going to use Bluehost again because that's what I'm familiar with, and I know it's the same for all of these different hosting companies that you'll check out, but you can upgrade certain things about the service, the security, and the functionality of your blog. So you can upgrade to a higher amount of storage so that your blog runs faster. You can upgrade and get an SSL certificate, which I'm now learning is important even for blogs. So it's called SSL. It stands for Secure Socket Layer. Isn't that fun? Secure Socket Layer. I have no idea what that means. All I know is what it does is it helps encrypt the information that your ideal reader puts into your website, which for you and a blogger, as a blogger, would be the email. Okay, so it's encrypting that information that they're putting in there so it's more secure and less likely to be hacked and brought over to someone's spam email. You know how we all get those. That's how they capture those. It also is going to protect if you have any type of PayPal buttons or other types of PayPal payment options on your website. Say you're offering coaching services or you're selling an ebook or any of that type of thing, then it's going to encrypt the information that your customer puts in. Chrome, the latest edition of Chrome, now actually tells you if you're visiting a website not secure. Okay, well that doesn't make you feel good, does it? You're like, oh, I got to get out of here. I have to get off this. It's simply because they don't have an SSL. It's not that they have bad coding on there or that's been hacked or any of that type of thing. It's simply they don't have the SSL. So that is something you may want to consider adding on, and it's going to be like a couple extra dollars per month to add that on. I do know with Bluehost, they'll give you a free version, but it's only for 3 months. And I don't know if you just have to keep doing that every 3 months, but I noticed it didn't make a difference on the secure warning on my blog. So that's something I need to upgrade and look into because I just don't like that. And what's that's also going to do is it's going to give you that HTTPS instead of HTTP. Okay, I understand that S stands for secure somehow with that SSL certificate. Okay. So that's just a bunch of techie talk. But SSL is what you want to look for when you're looking into buying your hosting, and consider adding that on. It establishes brand trust and credibility that you have that and your readers aren't coming on getting this not secure site. Okay, that scares people. It also protects from the hackers a little bit. It gives a layer of security to your website. And with that, let's talk about website security. Now, I mentioned that WordPress has some problems with hackers. I have been hacked at least 3 times, but I think it was 4. And I have to tell you, my first experience with being hacked was mortifying. Literally, I had a retail website. It was my first online adventure, and I go to my website, I literally just went to the URL. I wasn't trying to log into the admin or anything. And there is this horrible, ugly digital face, this man's face laughing. Okay, my entire screen was covered by this laughing, just ugly digital face. It was so scary. I was just like, I was so violated. I was so shook by that. And so I take my website security very seriously. Fortunately, my website designer knew what to do to take that off. Yeah, angry, right? I know, it makes me so mad. And then over the years, a couple of times now, my blog has been hacked, and what they're doing is they put in code so that anywhere on my website that someone clicks, it takes them off my website to some sales page for some cheap Burberry fake knockoffs or whatever, right? So they're redirecting my readers, they're redirecting my traffic to their website to try and get people to buy from them. It's just like their affiliate link or whatever. So they're making money off of me hacking onto my system, and it is causing my readers to be like, whoa, I don't want to go there. I don't like that website. It's very insecure for me to go there. So level of protection that I put on my website now, I have not only the free, well, actually, I don't know if it's free or not, but SiteLock is who I'm using, and through Bluehost, you can, I think you have to actually upgrade. It's just a couple of dollars per month, but see how it adds up? There's all these little things. And what it does is it scans the perimeter of your website so it can see if it's been infiltrated. What it doesn't do is clean it up for you, okay? So it's there. What SiteLock's gonna do, or Bluehost, whoever, is they're gonna alert you and say, hey, your website's been hacked, because you can't always tell. In fact, the last time that I got hacked was only, 6 months ago or something, and I didn't even know it unless I was looking at my website through my phone. I could tell nothing when I looked from my desktop, but it was happening on my phone. So I don't know if that's a certain type of coding they're using or what's going on with that. So now they alert you, hey, you've been hacked. You have some bad code in there. We can clean it up. It's going to cost you $300. That's just the going rate. And it's just like 1 or 2 little pieces of code that they have to go in and find. And they have all their scanners and everything. So it doesn't take them a lot of time, but your out-of-pocket cost is going to be at least $300. So what I went ahead and did is I purchased security for my website from SiteLock, and I'm sure there's other companies that you could go with. That's just who I know and who I've used. And they catch it, they clean it up, and I don't even have to know about it. And that makes me really happy. I want to be totally hands off. I just want to know that my website is secure so that when my readers come, they're feeling safe, okay? So that's something, maybe you don't need immediately, but you will eventually run into problems with hackers if you've been online long enough. And that's what you're going to want to do to take care of that problem, is add extra security measures to your website. So we want to keep those nasty hackers and their creepy codes away from our websites, right? Okay. Is this helping? Did that give you some good ideas? Okay, it looks like we're kind of to the end of the tech stuff. Oh, it's already 11. I told you we had a lot today. Tomorrow, there's one more step. Okay, this tech stuff is getting you online and visible. The next step is going to be to create the look of your blog so that it's pretty and it represents you and it represents your brand and the message that you want to share. So there's a couple ways that we're going to do that. We have a really super fun exercise tomorrow that we're going to be doing together. So if you have those Post-it notes around the house, that's what I'm going to recommend that you use. And you have a space on the wall if at all possible. If you have to just journal it, or have one of those big poster boards or something like that, that'll work too. But the easiest way to do tomorrow's exercise is going to be the Post-its. And we'll also talk tomorrow about the theme. That's the piece of creative layout that you need to make your blog look pretty, or to make it look the way that you want. So what you can do tonight to kind of get a jump start on this, if you have time, I know you have a ton of stuff to do already, but if you have time, start looking at other blogs and really search around. Go to the ones you normally go to, but then find some other ones from other industries, just because all the fashion blogs tend to kind of have that same feel, and the food blogs have the same feel. But figure out, you know how they can have columns on both sides and then the main content down the area. Do you like that look? Do you like the big pictures that go across the top? Figure out the aesthetic of the blog that you like and what you definitely don't like. I know that I definitely don't like the left side column. I prefer a right column. I know that I like the bigger pictures. For a long time, my blog template was smaller images, and I finally upgraded, and I'm so happy with it because there's these big pictures, and I love that, and it kind of is the trend right now also. So do your homework regarding that, and we're going to get to all the fun branding and color and logo and the feel of your blog. We're going to get to all of that tomorrow. Okay? All right, let me grab a drink here. All right, now before we get to Q&A, I want to talk a little bit more about Project Blog. Don't get sick of this, okay? This is important. On Project Blog, we're going to take all of this information that we're learning and we're going to take it to the next level. What you guys are getting here are snippets, and this is going to help you get your blog up and online with a good name, and you're going to know who your audience is, and those are all foundational pieces. And then Project Blog is going to take you to the next level. So now we have this fantastic foundation. Let's take it to the next level, and let's make you some money, get you some audience, get some traffic, make you an influencer, and that's what Project Blog is going to do. Now, we talked about all of the modules. It's an 8-week program, so I've shared this with you before. So what I want to tell you about today, I want to go a little bit deeper into the last two modules, modules 7 and 8, and those are specifically about making money on your blog. Now, there are a variety of ways to make money using your blog as your platform to make money. So I'm going to go through them just as topics, and then I want you to know that in Project Blog, we dig deep into every single one of these. Okay, so you're going to really learn what ways that you like to make money and what your options are. Okay, so to monetize your blog, you can do guest blog posts. There are websites out there that pay for experts, and what they are likely, like I wrote for P&G, they have their beauty products, their healthcare products, their skin products, all of that. They had all kinds of these little blogs about all of these different topics, and they needed people to write the content. So they hire bloggers to do that. Along the same lines of guest blogging, you can also freelance blog. There are freelance websites out there with all kinds of jobs. So whatever your niche is, you can start looking into that. They don't pay great to begin, but once you establish yourself and you get good ratings, then you're going to get those higher paid jobs. So freelance blogging is another way. You can use affiliate links. So those are just like you're recommending a product and you put a little link in there so that if someone goes and purchases that great pair of shoes, then you're going to get a little bit of money as a referral. So those are affiliate links. Sponsored content, those tend to be higher paying because the entire blog post is dedicated to that company or that product, and that company is paying you for that. Over Christmas, I did a sponsored blog post for Oral-B electric toothbrush. I got paid for it. I got this really fancy $200 toothbrush. So that was a really good sponsored post, but the entire post is dedicated to the theme of that product or that brand. You can join ad networks. That means that they're going to place ads on your sidebar or the top of your blog. Text link ads is also another option. I was with ad networks for all the years, all the years that I blogged, except these last couple of years, or this last year. I took them off because ads aren't selling as well right now. The companies are really going more with sponsored content or social media sponsorships. And so then they tend to be these ugly ads like Google ads. And if I want to use Google ads, I just go to Google and put up Google ads rather than the ad network taking a portion of my earnings, right? So I have mixed emotions about that. I was with a fantastic ad network, fantastic, like literally. I traveled the most because of that ad network. I loved working with them, And we did video shoots for Macy's and JCPenney's, and we did photo shoots, and we had hair and makeup and fashion, and it was so fun. I loved it. But they had a 120-day payout, which means that my ads ran, and it wasn't for 120 days that I would get paid, which is a super, super long time. Most of them are around 60 days. So one, that wasn't good because I needed that income, right? I wanted to count on that income. And then second, this is really sad, they just literally disappeared. They were having a hard time paying out. So we were not getting paid for our ads like the last couple of months that they were around. And you know, they would send emails to apologize, where you're gonna get it in 10 days or whatever. So they kept putting us off. I should have suspected something a little more, but to check how much money you're making, you have to go into their back end, and I didn't do that until the day I got an email from a different company that said, I'm so sorry, this company went out of business. We'll be happy to take you into our network. And I was like, what? They owed me hundreds of dollars. I could no longer get into the back end because the website was just gone. It was just gone. I couldn't get into the back end to see how much money they owed me so that I could, you know, sue them for it or be a part of a class action suit or something. I had no documentation. It was horrible. It was horrible. Like 2 months later, I got a letter saying, hey, if you can prove that we owe you this amount of money, submit it and you might get paid. Well, I didn't because I didn't have that documentation. So it's risky is what I'm saying. You really have to do good paperwork and keep up on it when you're working with a third party. Okay, but that's ad networks. Didn't mean to go off on such a tangent, but that's like a sticking point with me. So it is why I stopped running ads on my blog from third parties. Okay, social media shares get paid. Okay, that's a really big thing right now. Remember we talked about those micro influencers the other day? So if you are a micro influencer and you're talking about gluten-free food, that gluten-free company is going to be like, I know her readers are going to buy this, so I'm going to go with her. So your numbers aren't as important. But for some companies, it still is about the numbers. So if you have a huge social media following, you're more likely to make more money using those paid social ads. And then working with brands, like I said, the sponsored content, they may have you come to, you know, where they make videos, like kind of internet commercials, essentially. You could be a part of that, and that would be paid. There's all different ways to work with brands, lots of brands. You're going to learn how to pitch brands. So instead of waiting for brands to come to you with an offer, you're going to go to them with an offer, okay? Don't sit back. Take control of your business. Get out there and connect with the brands that you want to work with rather than waiting for a brand you may not want to work with, but you take it just because you make money. Okay? And we'll talk about that too, how you shouldn't take things just to make money. And then the second module, the week 8, we're going to talk about creating e-products and creating services that you can offer as other options for income. And this is taking your blog from blog to business. Okay, this is the business of being an influencer. And the money, the bigger money, the money that's going to actually change your life is likely going to be because of products that you create or services that you offer to your readers. And all of that is going to get covered in Project Blog, and those are 2 modules, 7 and 8, that we'll be talking about those. So Project Blog, today only, and I was going to make it just for the first 5 people, but when I realized that it was 3 a.m. at some places right now, they don't have the opportunity to jump on that, and that's just not fair. That's the great thing about the internet, right? We talked about that, how you can connect with people all around the world. So in order to make it fair, I'm going to make this offer available for 24 hours. So until tomorrow, when we start our next challenge, I am offering $50 off of the price. So it's going to be $247 for 8 weeks of training, which includes 1 weekly live video with me training to go over what you learned that week. And this will be done in a private Facebook group just for Project Blog people. So your price is going to be $247. There are payments available, 3 payments, 3 months worth. Okay, so you'll pay monthly. The cost for that's going to be $82.33 each month. When you sign up, you will have to make your first payment. And my payment processor is PayPal, but you do not have to use PayPal. You could use a credit card through them. You don't have to have a PayPal account, is what I mean to say. So you can read more about Project Blog and all the value that you get from there at bit.ly/projectblog, bit.ly/projectblog. And that offer of $247 is good for 24 hours. And I really hope that you jump on that, because if you want to make your blog into a business and make it into a moneymaker the way you're talking like you are, then that is going to be your next level, your next step that you're going to want to take. Okay. You also get a free 30-minute coaching call with me as a bonus at that price. So that's a pretty good deal. We can really work one-on-one in whatever area you need. You can use that call anytime during that 8-week program. So if you have a sticking point or something that's just not making sense or you're not sure about, that's when you're going to want to utilize that call. Okay, so I hope you guys jump on that. We want to have a fun group in there so we can encourage and support each other. So let's go ahead and get to questions. You guys have been with me for so long. Thank you. Let me just back up here and see who's saying what. Okay, Jane. Oh, yeah. So I got my domains through GoDaddy also, is what I was going to tell you. But now that I'm working with Bluehost and they're offering it free, that's what I want to recommend. But of course, you don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want. But that's just what I recommend because it's free. Why not, right? And it's cheap to host. Tagline we talked about. Wine sounds good, right? Yeah, it does, Jane. I know, Natalie. It's so creepy. I don't like the idea of these people from anywhere in the world being able to get into my information and do whatever they want with my website. I don't like it. It's just a very insecure feeling that it gives me. So that's why I went with SiteLock and put some added security on there, not only for the benefit of my readers and to keep their information safe, but for the peace of mind for me, knowing that if there's a problem, they take care of it, and it's worth the money to me. I have to text you. Yep, okay. Can't make it live tomorrow. That's okay, Jane. I so appreciate all of you being here. Yay, I'm so glad you're in Project Blog, Jane. We are gonna have so much fun together. Okay, Michelle. Yes, we ran a little long. Okay. Everybody's having to pop up. We did run an hour and 15 minutes. So I am so grateful that you joined me here today. Thank you for being a part of this discussion. I hope that you found value in what we talked about. And I know as you dig into it more, you're going to have questions. So please pop those questions down below the video into the comments. I'll answer the best I can. And if I don't have an answer, then I'll give you the resource. Also, be sure to check the files. Later today, I'm going to upload those, and that's going to have all the links to all those websites that we talked about to help you easily find what you need to find and do your research. So, for your challenge homework, figure out your name or start working on that and start investigating what blog styles you like and start investigating where you want to host your blog and what platform you want to use. Okay, goodbye, everybody. Thank you. Bye, Jerry. Bye. Bye, Natalie. Thank you. Love you all. Bye.